Welcome to Boo Boo Plays, where we're already selling out by returning to my most viewed series on the channel. This time, we're gonna do the Stanley route because we didn't do that last time. Good old road trips full of promise and ripe with potential for adventure, soul searching, and incredible scenery. Or at least that's what you thought were before the novelty wore thin. As of now, your legs are cramping up, you've exhausted your travel playlist 2 times over, and your stomach is begging for something to eat. On top of all that, you're pretty sure you're lost. Where could I be lost? I think I just skipped something because I was looking away. Right back to the old professionalism. Driving through Oregon paints a picture of trees, and more trees, especially on that endless winding roads that you've been taking up north. All that breaks the pattern is a sign that zips past the words that you're just able to make out. Gravity Falls. Make out. That's what we're going to be doing with Stanley later. The road continues on, giant redwoods looming on both sides. You find yourself anticipating something, because as you drive on, you can feel it. Something strange is bound to happen here. Something weird. And that's when it happens. Your car picks up speed. The change came out of nowhere, and you quickly put your foot on the brakes, but horrifyingly, the car seems to be driving on its own willpower. Spooky. Trying to stay calm despite the panic welling in your chest, you pull the emergency brake, only to find that the car resists and keeps moving forward, like something is pulling it. The car begins to rattle, the wheels screech against the country road, and you're screaming until... crash! And here we are. There's smoke. Why is there smoke? You cough, fumble for the door, and manage to undo the lock just before the door is wrenched outward from your grasp. Something lands on your shoulder. A hand. Are you alright? A man sits at your open car door. His hand on your shoulder leaves you to tilt your head up, and he pulls a flashlight from his coat, shining in your eyes. 2 blinks and he lets your chin go. His eyes dart over the rest of you, looking for injuries. Still stunned, all you do is watch. What's your name? My name is, Boo Boo. And my pronouns, I am a he, him. Boo Boo, I'm Stanford Pines, Ford for short. I would shake your hand, but you look shaken up as it is. You seem fine as far as I can tell, but you shouldn't head back out there anytime soon. Where on earth are you driving in such a hurry? You open your mouth to explain when a voice calls from inside the house. I'm not gonna do it. I can't do a Stanley voice. Poindexter, fuck. Poindexter, this better not be one of your experiments again. I've had this place rebuilt too many times to... The owner of the voice walks out of his house and stops slack-jawed at the sight of your car inside you're guessing his house. You must have hit your head earlier because you could swear you're seeing double. You must... Wait, what? Sweet Moses Ford, you've done it this time? What? This had nothing to do with me. I was testing my magnet gun and... It must have pulled this victim of circumstance into the house. I suppose it's entirely my fault. I'm incredibly sorry. Cry. Always cry. A tear streaks on your cheek, and before you know it, you're crying. I think I did this joke last time, but I don't care. It's still funny. Both men look intensely uncomfortable, but Ford reaches out to give you a hesitant pat on the shoulder. Hey, look, it's fine, alright? Sure, there's a dent in the hood from the shack's signage and a crack in the windshield that looks like an ominous triangle, but I'm sure she'll still run. You try to start up the car, it sputters, but ultimately nothing happens. You feel like crying again. Oh, well, let's call a tow truck for this unfortunate soul here and forget. I'll take care of it, Ford says. You're right. It is cheaper to tow it yourself, Sixer. Get that magnet gun out again. No, Stanley, I'm going to fix this. What? Ha, you fix this mess? I figured out a few alien vehicles in my time. Nah, you kidding me? It takes some sort of miracle worker to bring this baby back to life, and this miracle worker is on vacation. Stanley, a moment. Ford and Stanley turn away and you're left to your thoughts. Who can anticipate a car accident like this in the middle of a road trip? You could take care of the car, but how are you going to get home? They run buses out here, right? So you take a bus out of here and then... Ford clears his throat, shifting a little awkwardly in place. Seems like they finished their talk. So, there are a few options. My brother Stanley here could drive you out of town to find a place to stay for the night, or you could stay the night here. My cats are tearing everything up. Hey! 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 They're ignoring me. Whatever. We have some maps and information you can look at the gift shop. In the morning, we can help you with your car. What do you say? As they're about to answer, another high-pitched voice comes from inside the house. Uncle Stan, picture this. A whole week of... Oh my gosh! The girl that runs out of the house comes to a halt at the side of your car. Oh, great. Grunkle Ford, why is that everyone automatically thinks I'm at fault? Well, this time it is my fault, but I've invited Boo Boo here to stay with us for the night. If you'd like, I'm sure I can fix this. I just have to figure out how. Babies. We're gonna have problems. Stanley sighs. I can take a look. Being on vacation's pretty boring, and the old Staymobile hasn't needed a tune-up yet, so it wouldn't be too bad to work on something in the meantime. Thank you, Stanley. I'm sure I can put something together from the gadgets I have laying around if you need any specialized tools to help you with the job. And let me introduce myself. I'm Mabel. You can ask me anything. I pretty much know everything there is to know about this place. Well, wait, hold on. I haven't even said anything yet. I appreciate your offer to let me stay and to repair your car. Yeah, it'll be good as new in my hands. I mean, look at my Stanmobile. She's been through the ringer who knows how many times, and she's still a beaut. He points out a red car parked at a distance away. You can't really see how beautiful it is at this distance, but he sounds really confident. Well, this turn of events is suspicious. Free repairs, free lodging? What is this? The setup to a murder? You can see the headline now. Unsuspecting tourist dies mysterious death in backwater town. But at least the jury's still out on these people. The cost of auto repair anywhere else will show you no mercy. Well, I accept. Thanks for the help. And my apologies again. What an embarrassment. I must have made such an elementary mistake. As the pines lead you inside the house, Maple leaves her number in your phone for you to call whenever, and you find out that Ford's twin goes by Stan. This part's the house, but just outside the door is the Mystery Shack. Hey, you ever been to the Mystery Shack before? I wanted to, actually. I saw a bumper sticker while I was on the road and got curious. You're interrupted by a loud, triumphant, "Ha!" Those bumper stickers were a good investment, and Sixer says they're too plain and graphically simplistic, and don't even have an address on them, Stanley. How is anyone supposed to find the place to attract customers? Sixer, did you hear that? Well, they are graphically simplistic. I don't know how he found the place, let alone thought what is the Mystery Shack was compelling. I kind of liked it. See? He kind of liked it. Hey, I like you, Boo-Boo. Oh my god, he likes me. How about I give you a tour sometime tomorrow, regular price? Tomorrow, then I'll have to squeeze all my get to know you questions in today. Boo-Boo, tell me, capybara, yes or no? At that moment, a boy passes in the hallway at the far doorway, and Ford calls out to him. Dipper, my boy, I've overdosed on ketamine and I'm going to die. Dipper, my boy, I'm surprised I didn't see you run out of the scene of the crime. Crime? What crime? I have an alibi. I swear. Oh, you have someone with you. Hey, haha, I'm not suspicious at all. Did you guys see that car on the side of the shack, though? For a second, I thought the Manitars were back with a grudge. Oh, yes, about that, Dipper. Meet Boo-Boo. I've stranded his car here by accident. He's staying here for the time being. Sorry, stranded his car here? You crashed it? The S in the shack fell off on it and everything. The windows are cracked. What the fuck? Oh, I hit the mouse wheel. Huh? I don't know how to go. Wait. One window, the windshield, and Boo-Boo was lucky to make it out alive. He's fine, no injuries, thankfully. The magnet's gun rather safe, despite never having been tested in a formal setting. Yeesh, should you not, take safety precautions or anything? Actually, the irony of the situation is that I was trying to install a safety precaution. Hey, if you two are gonna do your nerd talk, I'm gonna get Boo-Boo set up. Mabel, sweetie, why don't you show Boo-Boo around? Let him stay in, the storage room. That's still empty, right? I'll make it empty. The rest of the day consists of Mabel showing you the storage room. You'll be staying in the kitchen and the living room, and the hallway and the bathroom, and pretty much a comprehensive tour of the mundanities of a regular house. Eventually, you find out the family is even more extended than you knew. The Decker of doilies make a lot more sense knowing our grandmother normally lives here, and our grandson Zeus, or was it Zeus, whatever the name. You look forward to meeting him when he comes for work in the morning. When you go up to the attic, Mabel opens the door to reveal Dipper, snow stuck in his book. You catch him occasionally glancing up at you as he pretends to read. The next member of the family snorts up at you from Mabel's bed, a rotund pink pig, whom Mabel declares as her best friend and partner in crime waddles. The two are a perfect match, right down to the chubby cheeks and boopable noses. And in the evening, though, you'd still be in disbelief over the state of your car. The family dinner and after-dinner TV marathon you'd been invited to made it seem like a normal guest stay rather than a forced circumstance. Returning to the storage room Mabel had shown you earlier, you find an air mattress waiting for you and more pillows and sheets than a summer night warrants. And we go to sleep. You wake to the weak glare of sunlight streaming in through the small, high window in the wall. You can't remember your room having this kind of feature or any hotel or motel room, for that matter, and then yesterday comes crashing back to you. You glance at the time to see that you've slept into the afternoon. Experiencing the accident yesterday must have left you tired out. Despite having been reassured yesterday evening that you were free to do anything in the fridge, you still feel like you're imposing on the Pines family and try preparing as polite a guest breakfast as you can. You wash the dishes in the sink before you leave, and just as you're about to exit the kitchen, you bump into Ford. Your yes from yesterday, of course. For a good solid moment, Ford regards you in awkward silence. Ford clears his throat. I believe Stanley's taking a look at your car outside if you wanted to be there for it. You give a nod and make to leave for real this time when Ford speaks up again. And Boo Boo, I'm sorry again for the accident. If I'd been smarter about, well, let's just say it's entirely my fault. You shouldn't worry about this at all. When it comes down to it, Stanley has a knack for cars. I predict you'll be back on the road in a matter of weeks. Weeks? You can't keep the dismay off your face and can't really bring yourself to try to either. What am I gonna do with weeks? Ford, who'd gone kind of uncomfortable and closed off when your face fell, recovers at the prospect of a question he can answer. Well, there's the town to tour, of course, and the Mystery Shack, and if you ask me, all that pales in comparison to... Hold on, do you hear that? Ford turns to the kitchen doorway to investigate. Sounds like... The sound comes again, and the time you hear it as well. The squeal of a pig. Followed by a pair of quick footsteps running down the stairs. Waddle stumbles past the open kitchen doorway, and Mabel comes into view soon after, a few sheets of paper clutched in hand. Ford steps quickly out of the kitchen, and you follow to the doorway, getting there just in time to see the apparent tug-of-war between Mabel and her pig over a saliva-covered sheet of paper. The paper rips, and after nearly toppling backwards from her efforts, Mabel recovers, snatching the scrap of ripped paper from Waddle's jaw, and lifting both pieces up victoriously. Haha, Mabel wins again. Now I gotta find Grunkle Ford. Ford, who'd run forward and held a hand out to steady his energetic child when she'd been in danger of toppling over, now found a number of crumpled sheets of paper shoved into his hands. Mabel tugs urgently at his coat. Grunkle Ford, you have got to help me! Ford kneels down to face Mabel with a serious though concerned look. Slow down, Mabel. What's the matter? Dipper found a stack of pages from your old journals, and I walked in, and Waddles ran up and started eating one, and he must have been chewing on it to warn me, Grunkle Ford, because look. Mabel takes the ripped halves of paper back from Ford's hand and joins them together, holding it up for Ford to see. I see. And you took it as a warning? Yes, it says here that it eats small dogs, and Waddles is a small pig, but he sort of looks like a dog from far away, and Waddles must have feared for his life. Waddles seems to second this notion with a snort, or not, as it seems the pig is lounging adorably a short distance away in the hallway. You can't imagine what this dangerous predator could be. Some kind of wolf? Something bigger? You're suddenly not so keen on staying anymore. Remember the pterodactyl I told you about? Waddles was so scared that time, I can't let him leave my side. Pterodactyl? You suppose pigs are allowed in museums around here? How about I finish that repellent I never got around to completing? That'll keep Waddles safe from harm. Mabel flops down on the floor in relief. Grunkle Ford, you are an actual lifesaver. Waddles, you have nothing to fear. Ford chuckles, lifting himself out to kneel and standing back up. Alright, I'll go get my recipe. Ford turns to leave, and you suddenly remember that, with nothing better to do for the weeks you're going to be here, it wouldn't hurt to get to know Ford. He seems to know that what there is to do around town, anyway, and you'll need to not die of boredom in your first week. Or more pressingly, you can go check on your car and see what Stan's made of it so far. You're not exactly eager to face seeing your car on the side of the house again, though. We're gonna check on my car. Fuck Ford. I already did, so we're gonna do that later. After Ford leaves, Mabel rolls away with her pig towards the living room, and you head out of the house in search of Stan. I haven't looked up anything on this, by the way, so I'm doing this completely blind. And if we fuck it up, I'm just gonna have to look at a walkthrough. The Mystery Shack should only have 4 main sides, but you feel like you've made your rounds past 5 of them before seeing your absolute wreck of a car. You swear it looks even worse than it did when you crashed it. Stan stands before it, hands on his hips as he looks at the large wooden S that's made its indent in the car's hood. How bad is it? Can't tell yet, not till I get this letter off the hood. That S never did like to stay in place. Mystery hack, huh? Look, if you're gonna insult me... Oh, you were reading the sign. I'm fixing that later, alright? Just avert your eyes, don't look at it. Offer to help him. Guess we should fix it as soon as possible then. Sounds good to me. Give me a hand here, would you? Of course. Stan directs you to help him push the wooden S off the car. It stalls a little on its own dent, but with another firm shove, its end meets the ground. Stan gives it another push with a grunt, and it tips, falling completely to the ground with a whump. Now that it's free of its burden, Stan lifts up the dented hood of the car to take a look inside. He hums and huns and rubs a hand over his chin in thought, waking over to his toolbox and grabbing a tool before walking back, still assessing the damage. Yeah, this one's going to take a while. You've got parts that need replacing, not to mention she's not going to look so hot after this, not unless Ford's got the text squirreled away somewhere that can smooth out these dents. The more he tells you of the situation, the more this all sinks in. You really are stuck here. Stan spots your worried frown. Hey, boo-boo, right? Look, I know how this sounds, but with me on the job, you'll be all set and back on that road in no time. You think so? Kid, I know so. I've even got a plan to get those replacement parts of yours. Might not be able to clean up all these scuff marks after I'm done, but she'll run. And hey, so maybe you've got to stay a couple of days. So what? There are worse places to get stranded, believe me. In fact, I'd even say the Mystery Shack is the best place to get stranded. We've got all tons of stuff for people just passing through. Merchandise, magic, mystery, any other words, mayhem. You get the idea. Stan tosses the tool in his hand back in the toolbox, exchanging it for another. He works for a while longer in your silence. Metallic clanks and occasional heavy breath, all that mixes in with the sounds of the outdoors. You stand by, awkward, uncomfortable, and a little useless. Can I help with anything? Know anything about cars? No. Same. Stan straightens, cracks his back, and sets down a tool before leaning casually against the nearest load-bearing surface. He wipes his forehead, lets his hand fall to his waist, and gives you an assessing look. How about collages, tall tales, improv? Yeah, I think I can handle that, but what does that have to do with this? You gesture at your stranded car, held in limbo between life and death by nothing other than Stan Pines' car expertise and a little luck. Nothing. I was planning on have you help me help Seuss around the shack. A favor for a favor. What do you say? Well, it's more interesting than helping Ford with his pest problem. You accept. Alright, follow me. Let's do it. You follow Stan back into the Mystery Shack, passing by the showroom and getting a glimpse of an energetic figure leading a flock of tourists through a veritable sea of obviously fabricated oddities. You hear the words, and this is the ninth wonder of the world, right in the Mystery Shack. It's what makes this place world famous, dudes. Stan notices your pace slowing as you listen and tosses an explanation back for you. That's Seuss. During operating hours, he's the Mystery Shack's one and only Mr. Mystery. I told him he didn't have to keep the shack running while he's on vacation, but the kid's got a passion for the role. You interested in this kind of stuff? I was thinking about going on a tour. It feels weird now that you're staying at a tourist trap, though, and you were kind of going to poke fun at the exhibits. Harder to do when you have to live around your tour guide. It's fine, really. Nah, I think I want to give you a tour of the place. You'll get one from the founder himself. You ever hear of my plugs on the radio? You weren't really paying attention to the radio during the drive. Just taking in the Oregon scenery. I don't know why I thought I said that wrong. See the signs pointing to this place for over a mile down the road? Again, you were pretty preoccupied with the Oregon scenery, but you guessed you did see some signs with question marks on them. That's some vague advertising. Just seeing what works. Bumper stickers, huh? Still got one on Ford. Anyway, follow me, folks. Well, folk, get ready to be amazed. Stan starts leading you back the way you came. You trail behind him, a little skeptical, but definitely curious. Did she say the founder would lead this tour? Is Seuss the founder? Stan laughs. What? No, I'm the founder. Built this place from the ground up. Well, metaphorically speaking, I mean the house was here and the junk was here, but I was the one who spun this place into a wondrous house of mysterious junk. Stan gestures with his arms like he's smoothing out a rainbow. You're not very impressed. Prepare to be amazed. You're still not very impressed, but his energy gets you hoping you'll be amazed anyway. There's a tour group in the showroom right now, so I'll be taking it in a different cycle that completely misses them. We're starting in the gift shop. Woo! You enter the gift shop, a simple room crowded top to bottom with standard tourist souvenirs and merchandise. You see t-shirts with question marks, mugs with question marks, and pretty much everything has question marks. What is that? Is that like a totem? Or like hairspray? I can't tell what any of this stuff is in the background. In one corner of the room stands a lumpy attempt of a statue labeled the Founder, recognizable as Stan only by the nose and glasses. Yep. The room usually comes after I butter the customers up to buying things, but since you're staying a while, I'll have plenty of time to sell you stuff later. Take a look around. If you see an impulse buy, make it. Nothing like trusting your instincts. What do I want? Well, I definitely want to get a t-shirt. Who doesn't love a good souvenir t-shirt, right? They're great for layering. And they've got the characteristic Mystery Shack question mark on them. What makes it a Mystery Shack question mark instead of just a regular question mark? You ask too many questions. Or do you? He says that last part in an exaggerated tone that betrays it as a sales pitch. This guy has no subtlety. Oh, so this is just looking at everything. Founder statue. Yeah, should have asked Mabel to carve it. You gotta admit that every version of me's got a charming smile, though. Aztec calendar. I absolutely know how to read that thing, and you should buy it. Jar of eyeballs. Thought we sold this thing years ago. Nah, I forgot to put a price on it. Just has a dollar sign on it. Stan takes some dark marker and squeezes in a $9.99. Then he goes back to make it $29.99. That jar's got a lot of eyeballs. Freezer full of iced goods. Just because you're staying over does not mean you get to sneak over here for a popsicle. I get to do that because this used to be my place and I get founder benefits. I also get founder dibs on pineapple ice pops. You can't actually take one out of the stack. I glued them together way back when. Secret business trick. And you're telling me because no one will ever believe you. Then they'll try it and the whole stack will fall to the floor. You notice though, you break it, you buy its sign on the wall. That's brilliant. Pine tree hat. Dipper used to wear one of those. Seuss tells me they sold like hotcakes after Ford tossed his journals into the bottomless pit. Funny those events have no correlation. Journals, bottomless pit. We'll have a chance to swing by the bottomless pit later. It's a prime spot on every tour because the troublemakers always accidentally trip in and get to lead the tour without them for 20 minutes. I'm kidding. Should have seen the look on your face. Employee of every month. Seuss has always been the hardest worker of this place. And it's only natural to hand it over to him. Alright, I guess I'm done looking. You sure? Well, I think I hear the tour group heading out of the showroom anyway. Now, most tourists don't appreciate nature's artistic genius, by which I mean my artistic genius, because I remembered you're going to help me out today. You don't think up a money-making wonder like the Sasquatch by having a boring 9-to-5 office job. You think it up when you wonder, why hasn't anyone found the Sasquatch? Could it be that its name has been mispronounced this whole time? Anyway, just let me know when you've soaked up enough inspiration from this room, because you're going to need to use it right after. I don't understand. Alright, come on. You're going to see what makes this place the Mystery Shack instead of just the shack. We're making another attraction for the showroom. You follow Stan through the living room to the kitchen where stuffing and animal parts are strewn across the surface to your left. Stan pulls out a thick needle and a spool of thread, and as an afterthought adds a couple of nails and a hammer to the pile. It seems a little unsanitary to do this right across from the fridge, and has the potential to look almost gruesome if it weren't so oddly cartoonish. He steps up to the workplace and pulls out the googly eyes that have been glued over the lifeless, glassy ones typical of a taxidermy. Mabel's contributions to the craft project remain firmly intact. That's what I get for letting Mabel bring her stash of scrapbooking supplies. That's one more thing to add to the backstory. Backstory? What, you don't really think that tourists are dumb enough to believe that the thing you're selling them is what you tell them it is, just like that, do you? Because if you do, you'll be set to do business in Gravity Falls. Anywhere else, though, customers take a little more work. See, every good piece comes with some kind of story, or if you're Poindexter, some kind of lore. Horror stories work pretty well, because with enough suggestion, people can always find ways to spook themselves. Done it for years, it's kind of an art. Stan appears nonchalant, but you can see a quiet pride within him. Pfft, sounds easy. Stan merely looks amused. Oh yeah? Let's see you take a shot at it after we put this thing together. You said you've done this for years? Always had a knack for it, even when I was a kid. Sure, there were a little learning curve involved. and I've had a few unhappy customers over the years. Stan pauses, seemingly to reminisce, and the mixed smile grimace on his face tells you he probably had many, many unhappy customers. But mostly I've run a great business on telling lies. I mean stories. You're learning from a true master, kid. So why don't you run this place anymore? You work like you're still part of this place. What was the original version of the shack? Let's get to the showpiece already. Why don't you run this place anymore? Stan's grin melts into something softer, maybe a little bittersweet. My brother wanted to drag me off on a trip with him. Couldn't say no, and I couldn't just close the place, so I left it all to Seuss. He practically grew up in this place, you know? Definitely wouldn't have entrusted it to Wendy. She's usually the cashier around here in the summer. It's weird having to explain all this to you. I keep thinking you already know all this. You work like you're still part of this place. You can take a man out of the mystery shack, but you can never take the mystery out of a man, specifically me, which is why I'm back to work even though I don't have to. 30 years of the same routine will do that to you. What was the original version of that shack? Vision? Make money. What other vision do you need? But over the years, sure, I've used the mystery line for advertising. Who isn't curious? Who doesn't want to be amazed? Kids are the most skeptical of the bunch, though, let me tell you. Once they hit about 8 or 9, they love trying to prove it's all fake. Then they get older and realize there's nothing good left in the world unless you pretend there is. And everyone pretends along with you because they're all desperate. Stan turns his attention back to the workspace, and you notice once more the daunting selection of items that lay upon the table. It's not the number, but the variety that makes you unsure of how you're going to craft something out of this. Yeah, I don't know what you're going to do with this stuff. Surprise me. Stan walks off to the side, you guess, to do some work of his own. You're glad he's not going to watch you the whole way through. How are you going to approach this? Piece together as many matched parts as you can find. Piece together as many disparate parts as you can find. And keep things a nice mix of matched and mismatched. Oh. Keep a nice mix. Now, how should he keep these parts intact? I think Stan would really like hammer and nails. Okay, you have a base to work off of. What next? Add some sculpted details, color in some fur to exit the gooey eyes. Color in some of the fur. Hey Stan, I'm finished. Good enough. Stan picks your disturbing creation by up gingerly. So what's the story here? Give it to me. Just have fun with it. This is a squirkin', a fish, squirrel, chicken. Stan nods appraisingly. Sounds like you got more the hang of this. Alright, the thing's about as close as to show ready as it'll get. Wait here a second. Stan carries the showpiece out of the room. After a few moments, you hear his footsteps return, and he comes into the room with 2 cans of pit cola. Stan sets down one on the dining table. Its condensation starts to slowly drip onto the table's surface. He waves you over to join him, and you slide into the seat across from him. Nothing like a cold one. Cracking open a cold one with the boys. He picks up his can, gesturing towards you with it as he leans leisurely back in his chair, and you watch as he takes a sip. It's a nice looking sip, and now you're staring. Oh, of course I'm staring. You pull over your own can and pop it open. So, got any questions for me? Talking tends to ease me into a new place. Might do the same for you. I don't care about 4. Let's ask about the exhibits. The showroom already seemed full when I saw it earlier. Why make more? Tourists love variety. Put up a sign advertising a new attraction. They'll come pouring through the doors. When I started this place, I didn't think I'd, like making these. Used to just be another thing that made money. Now I'm stuck with it. Guess 30-something years of routine will do that to a man. You already said that. Stan sounds gruff, but it's a fond gruffness. What did I just press? Sixer says keeping familiar habits helps too, so I've kept it up. You think I could sell some of these as art pieces? Hell yeah. Yeah? I could play them up to buyers and sell them at even more ridiculous prices than I usually would. I'd buy one. I'm holding you to that. Well, fuck. Let's ask about him, so tell me about yourself. Stan laughs nervously. What is this, a first date? I hope so. Well, I'm Pines, Stan Pines, Imaginator, Town Darlin'. Used to be proprietor of the Mystery Shack. He pauses and stays paused. You give him an expectant look that wants him to continue, and he clears his throat nervous. What, you were serious? I don't, get this often. The longest I can get people to listen to me is when I'm selling them something, and even then, it's tough luck. Last time someone listened to me, they tried to eat me. Can you believe that? I barely got much meat left on me. And keep going. You can't just end it there. Stan gives an uncertain smile, which becomes a full-on grin, and he laughs. Alright, I'll tell you. So you see, there's this irresistible thing called revenge. Stan tells you a tale of a road trip, a mountain full of mummies, and a woman who was secretly a spider. You don't believe a word of it, but find yourself enjoying it anyway. Stan knows how to hold his audience in a decent suspense, and he seems to light up whenever you laugh at the right parts, grinning along with you. But today, you never even heard of Mr. Mystery before, but now you feel like you're really seeing something special here, one-on-one with the man himself. I'm not going to ask about Ford. Fuck Ford. I don't care. Stan tips his head back to get the final sip of pit and sets his empty can down with an air of finality. Well, Boo Boo, you did good for your first try. If you ever feel like helping me around again sometime, returning the favor on the car, let me know. You nod, and Stan gets up to leave when you remember something. Wait, I still owe you the price of admission, right? For the tour earlier? Nah, don't worry about it. Give me something to hold over you if I need it. He says that and he leaves, but even from what little you've seen from him, you feel like Stan's not the type to really hold that over you. At least not for anything serious. The tourist trap might have more to offer than you thought, like true love. Okay, can you give me... You're good at this. Okay, I think that's good. And I'm gonna leave it here. Next time on Boo Boo Plays, we're gonna... Fuck Stanley. That's what we're gonna do. There's no getting around that. It's gonna happen. Anyway, we'll go ahead and like, comment, do whatever you want. Let me know what you think. Hopefully this gets some interaction. Later.